What is up, ladies and gentlemen of the Uverse? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be completing that install that you guys watched last week. Hopefully if you didn't, or if you're in the distant future and all of these videos have come out, hit that I up in the top right corner. You'll see a drop down. You'll see a link to part 1. You'll want to watch part 1 because part 1 is where we install the front suspension lift on my beautiful 2020 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon, also known as, for shorter purposes, SnowFlake. My beautiful SnowFlake went up 2.5 inches effectively. I know I said it was a 3.5 inch lift. Well, actually, did I? I bought a 3.5 inch lift. Rubicons come pre-lifted, so my effective lift will be 2.5 inches, but it's beautiful anyway, and it's highly effective. The lift in question that we are putting on today is a TeraFlex 3.5 inch, Sport ST3 suspension system with Falcon 3.1 piggyback shocks. It is a phenomenal suspension system that I absolutely recommend to everybody out there that owns a Jeep GL. It actually makes the vehicle drive and ride better than stock. I hear you. You're calling BS, but I'm serious. Just do it. It's amazing. But anyway, let's get to it. Let's resume the install. So the front, as you can see, is done. Turn the Jeep around so we can get to the back. Back is now jacked up. We jacked it up on the pumpkin and then set a couple frame sliders, or frame sliders. Yeah, a couple jacks underneath the frame and set it at a higher point so then we could lower it down a little bit, get the wheels off, and we'll get going on this. All right, guys, so there's...
So I gotta agree with that.
That's the Ebrake bracket line that we gotta pull. I'm talking to the camera.
Oh, huh?
Yeah, 13, perfect.
There's one.
So you just pull that bracket out. So E-brake's on, pulls this tab out. Toss vice grips on that tab on both sides, and then you'll go release the E-brake. So when Miranda releases the E-brake, we'll see all kinds of looseness come here. See how it just released the tension? There it is. There it is. So once you get that released, then you got to release the cable out of this bracket. This is on both sides. You'll reroute the cables to come underneath all this stuff, so you get more swag, you get more droop on the cables. Check back with you guys when that's done. All right, guys. So the E-brake is done. Let me show you how I got it routed. Still have the vice grips on here, but the cables are reconnected. Take a pair of needle nose and pry in these little tabs, and then you can get this cable out of here. And then you see how we've got more droop here on the E-brake cables, and they're now routed underneath that member instead of over it. So that will give us all kinds of slack, and now we're ready just to disassemble the suspension and get the shocks and springs installed, and we're good to go. So we've got the E-brake. After getting the E-brake done, and it's reset just for safety third, disconnected the sway bar, pulled the shocks off. So to pull the shocks off, you actually have to pull this little cover plate that's here. It's just 3/4 inch screws, and then you can pull the shock out of there. So we got the shock out of there. We got the bump stop out of there. We'll have to install the lower. We also pulled this brake bracket right here, and then we got to pull the track bar. Steve pulled the vent line out of the axle again as well. We removed electrical in the vent line. So yeah, we're moving right along on the rear.
Now we got to do these. So there's these little spacers right here that you've got to put in between right here.
Yeah, so you space out
So it
the...
brings it down a little bit.
Okay. Alrighty. Sway bar's relocated. I need to get rid of this fucking exhaust. I don't like the look of this exhaust. It's a big, heavy piece of shit. Okay. Track bar's out. No, I'm getting splattered.
Oh yeah.
A little bit. What do we gotta do next, Stevie?
Spit on that, push it up in there.
Ooh. Don't tempt me with a good time. So we got new butt plug. Bump stops. Rubber bump stops that go in back in here. Yeah, right there. So yet again, put some good lube on it. Or spit, whatever you're out of. Whatever you happen to have. Push it in, twist it so Falcon's out, and you're cock blocked and ready to rock. Oh, quick little meal break, and now we're gonna lower the rear axle and pull the springs, put in the new springs. Just lower the axle down until the springs come loose. Rear driver, or rear left. Rear left, as that's what I was talking about. See how it's labeled?
And you
So
can see the heights differently if you set them next to each other.
yeah, they got different spring rates, different heights.
Just a little bit, not a whole bunch. You're
Just-
talking, you know,
Half an inch,
yeah.
and that's just around the gas tank because the gas tank's over on the passenger side. Stay. All right. Pull the sticker off. Do love that they use plastic stickers and not paper ones, so you can get them off clean. Nothing worse than having paper shrapnel you gotta freaking clean off.
Get on the ground again.
I know. Me too. Oh, we're gonna have to... I think we're gonna have to lower it. All right.
Got that one in. All right, let's do the other side and then we can jack it up.
Yep. All right. Pull that one out. So the top has the locator notch. So that will go like that. I got it. Thank you. And the springs are in. And it looks like both of them have the TeraFlex pointing backwards.
Yep.
So we must have gotten something somewhat right. Kind of, sort of. Yeah, so now we got to do the track bar relocation bracket. So we've also got a relocation bracket just like on the front end. So this slips right over it, right?
Yep.
This bolt goes back in.
And this is where the spacer, no, does the new one go there? Or no? And that's where the spacer goes through too, though.
That is where the spacer, Stevie is
New
correct.
hardware or old hardware on the lower?
Install provided M14 bolts, spacer, and M14 nut. But once we get this lined up, like so, then that's where we need to mark these two holes here, and those two holes will be drilled out to a 1/2 inch diameter hole for the new bolts to fully lock this into place. Now we got these two marks. We'll get a center punch on one of them. And on both of them, sorry. We'll get a center punch on both of them and drill them out. Oh, really?
What?
I gotta pull the fucking brake caliper off.
Why?
To get, because we don't have spacing. Little bungee action, get that thing out of the way. And then hopefully we can drill. Oh yeah, now we got room. All right, we can swing this bracket back down. Yeah, that'll have to get jacked up to locate that better. Whenever. Now we will put the brake back together. Ow! How many times do you yell ow and it doesn't actually hurt? You just come off, you smack something, you yell ow, but it doesn't actually hurt. I wonder if it's the yelling ow that makes it not hurt. I don't know. So next is the longer sway bar. Sway bar lengths. So those will go inside out. Where?
No, that's where the shot goes.
Yeah, it's where the shot. Oh, they're up here, huh? How's? Because you've already got yours connected, right?
Yeah, it goes this way. Hold on. Goes that way.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Inside out?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah. I knew that. Huh. I don't have that speed wrench.
Which one? 18 millimeter?
It's a 19. So now we're going to mount the rear bump stop. Mounting the plate, just make sure the open holes are on the outside of the Jeep. And then you use the included hardware. 6 millimeter, 13 millimeter backer wrench. And we have already done the tests on Steve's Jeep to know how many of these spacer pucks on top of the big 2-inch puck we need. So it turns out we need 3 inches.
That's what she said.
Yeah, she's always asking for 3 inches.
4 inches.
Tell her, look, honey, if you're not satisfied with just the tip, you shouldn't have been dating me. Because that's all you're getting. Just the tip. And these bolts are an 8 millimeter Allen. Owner's manual has, or the installation manual has all the torque specs on these. If you really want to see them, buy a lift kit of your own. And you'll get the installation manual. Or you can go to TeraFlex.com. Stevie's been assembling the shock.
Will they be exposed?
Semi.
That's why you put this rock guard on here.
The roost guard. So let's see that. Ooh, lucky. Lucky.
Toys.
Yeah, those are going on.
New toys.
It's all about the toys. So then installing this shock.
Don't finish tightening that damn thing up before you grab the next one.
Already did. Oh, we got to go back through. Once you lower it down onto the ground on the tires, you go back through and double check everything.
You didn't do that when you were working on my Jeep.
No, I figured we'd test it on the trail.
See if it falls apart or not.
Yeah. It's now got a few thousand miles on the street and it hasn't fallen apart, so we must have tightened them. Most of them.
That doesn't sound very reassuring, Jeff.
True.
If you walk all lower, let's try not to drop springs out of place.
All right. Yeah, I was gonna go real slow. God, they gotta go way down. A little more. There we go. So that will get the shock. There we go. They didn't give us new bolts for these?
Well, doesn't
cheap,
look like it.
those cheap bastards.
Doesn't look like it.
One more peel. Actually, we got two. Oh, see, the Falcons are not the actual birds. Not quite as satisfying of a peel.
You're not saying it right.
Falcon. You just have to go so slow to get it all in one piece, and even then it tears. Yeah. As soon as my President Trump comes through with my money, I'll be getting a rear bumper and the front bumper and the winch. That meme is accurate.
Don't hold your breath.
Yeah, he's not giving that check to Jeep owners because he knows what we'll spend it on. So what Stevie's over there cutting is this little trim panel that went up here. So we're gonna have to cut this corner out to fit around the shock. And then we can protect electronics inside the bumper, keep it looking kind of stock, and definitely prevent some mud from flying up in there. And yeah, guys, as I expected, if you notice, I cut out this corner. There was a piece that went here with a little ridge. That fits in. Actually, Stevie found that. Steve did it the first time on the passenger side. And see how it fits in absolutely perfectly past the Falcon shock. Sorry, Falcon!
Throw a little phlegm in there, though.
Falcon! It's it must be a Persian Falcon. It's got a lot of phlegm in it. And then this is just held on by 3 1/4-inch screws. I'm gonna finish up the look of the back, and once we slap on the rear tires, that'll finish up the installation, guys. And the next thing you guys will see will be the Jeep porn. If you guys enjoyed this, don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit that like button on the way out. And we'll see you up there in the hills. Keep that rubber side down. Deuces. Peace. All right, guys. One more thing before the Jeep porn. I promise. Just one more. One more thing we got to do. You notice the steering wheel is a little cockeyed, little off, and my front wheels are pretty much dead straight. So one thing that you do have to do, or it affects your traction control. Steve's down here, and
So you got 2 adjustments real quick. This one, the lower one, if you look, goes all the way across. That is for your alignment. Do not adjust this one. It's the one up that's attached to your steering box. You have to loosen this bolt, and then this will turn back and forth to get the wheel back in line. So Jeff has to get in the vehicle as I turn this to tell me which way I need to go with the wheel. You're not touching the wheel, are you?
I was.
Yeah, because it makes it harder.
The other way.
Other way? Okay. See, so Jeff was seeing the wheel.
here, hold on. So now you guys saw which way he's moving it. And now, all right, go that way. And see, I'm not touching it. That's straightening out the wheel. So we got another 5 degrees, almost there. Good. Go back the other way just a little bit. There you go. That looks really good right there.
And it might change when you drive it, so we might have to do it again. But let's start there.
Okay. So yeah, see, that's those bolts up there. And that was a 15 millimeter. He's using a 15 millimeter box end speed wrench. So just one last little pointer on this install before we get to the Jeep porn. I know, but it's done. It's off the lifts, it's off the jacks. She's sitting on her own tires. you just gotta wait just a little bit longer. First test drive down, found one bolt on the back driver's side, upper shock was a little loose. Found that through the test drive.
Your side.
Yeah, my side.
Your side.
As Steve's pointing out, I did that. It's on me. But that's why you do tests. You just make sure, go through, test everything. Now I've driven it around the block a couple times. Everything tracks good under hard acceleration. We're still doing awesome. As you can see, she looks as good as her brother. So let's commence some not bike porn. This is Jeep porn. A little different this time. We're gonna do some Jeep porn. Let's get to it.